Hello, everybody. Intuition here. Thank you, as always, for making time and space for us. Today, we want to talk about the idea of how do you know when it's time to move on. And if you're watching this video, if you clicked on this video, that is one big indication that it is time for you to move on. If you're questioning it, then therefore, there's a reason as to why you're questioning it. So we will move through the idea of how do you know it's time to move on with the knowing that you do know that it is time to move on. It is never usually the idea of how do I know if it's time. It is more of the idea of, well, how much time is it going to take to actually move on? Well, how much work am I going to have to put into actually moving forward? And that within itself, you're feeding into an illusion with the idea of it is actually easier to stay in the place in which you think that is more comfortable for you than the place that you know you need to move into, which will help you to continue to evolve more into yourself and evolve into more of an enjoyment state as opposed to this stagnant state. So it is more or less not about knowing when it's time to move on. You know when it is time to move on. You've gotten all the indications, you've seen all the red flags. If you clicked on this video, that's another, again, big indication that it is time. So it is not about how do I know? You already know. It's more about how do I face this fear in actually moving towards and in the direction that I know would be most beneficial for my growth and for everybody else involved in the situation. It is usually fear, the illusion of fear, that is holding you back from knowing when it is time to move on and allowing yourself to move on in a clear, concerted way that is in congruence with all it is that you know yourself to be. So do not move into a state of fear when you ask yourself, is it time to move on? You know it's time to move on. So if you know it's time to move on, then there's nothing to fear on that. You've already answered that question. And sometimes that's all you need to say and do and express. Is it time for me to move on? Yes, I know it's time for me to move on. Oh, okay, great. Sometimes that's as much and as far as you need to go in that moment. Sometimes that's more than enough because you simply acknowledging, yes, I'm aware that I need to move on. Doesn't mean today. Doesn't mean right now I have to pick up my life and start anew. But as long as you're acknowledging that you're in awareness, that you've received the message, that you no longer could stay in the situation that you're in, then that is more than enough because your acknowledgement is movement. You expressing to yourself, yes, I know it's time to move on, is an indication that then therefore you are moving in the direction of the growth in which you say that you want to experience. So that is more than enough. That is movement. That is moving out of the stagnation and the energy that exists within, I don't know. I'm not sure. Is it time? You know it's time. If you're asking that question, yes, it is. It is time. Let's move on. So, for some, that is all you need to do. Yes, it is time for me to move on. Not right now, not in this second, not in this week, but simply assuring myself and acknowledging that something must change is more than enough for many. And once you acknowledge that, the funny thing is, you naturally start moving in the direction that will lead you to the changes that you say that you want to make. You start suddenly knowing everything that you need to know, everything that you need to do in order to get done what it is that you say you didn't know that you wanted to do to begin with. Yes, I want to get the divorce. I know it. It's not going to be today. Yes, I want to leave my job. Yes, I know it. It's not going to be today. Yes, I've got to move out of this state. I'm tired of living in this place. It's not going to be today. But in the fact that you acknowledged for the first time to yourself from I don't know to yes, I know. Yes, I got the message. I got to go. I gotta go. That is enough. So once you've expressed that, then opportunities start opening up because you are no longer playing yourself in the illusion of, well, do I know? Do I not want to know? I'm stepping into the hot water. I'm stepping out of the hot water. That energy does not allow for a movement in the direction that you say that you want to be in. So admit it to yourself. I want to change. I know I need to change. And it's okay if it's not today, as long as I'm accepting that this is the reality that I'm moving into. I know that opportunities are going to open up. And you are going to create those opportunities without even knowing it. Because again, as soon as you admit to yourself that you're ready to move forward, everything else outside of you starts to move forward with you. But you have to express that first to yourself, to come into the acknowledgement, so that all these other aspects that are here to help you, all these other energies that are within you and without you, can actually start moving in concert with you. Because nothing is going to move if you're not willing to at first acknowledge it within yourself. Your other aspect of self, with which many people identify as their higher self, that won't be able to help you if you're not willing to acknowledge within yourself that you're ready and you know you need to move on. Your angels, which is really your divine soulmate, your divine soul pair, is not really going to be able to aid and assist you if you're not willing to aid and assist yourself in saying, yes, I know it is time for me to move on. All it is that you are is not going to be able to move forward in the knowing that you inherently know if you're playing yourself and not willing to actually acknowledge what it is that you know. Because nobody is going to pull you out of your delusion, and nobody is going to pull you out of an illusion. It's only going to be you. If anybody could have pulled you out by now, trust. People would have. Hell's bells, I would have. I'd come to you and I'd pull you out of the illusion myself, if I could. But I cannot. Your divine soulmate cannot. Your other aspect of self cannot. It is only you. So you must do the work, and at least acknowledging and taking the step and saying, yes, it has to change. And it's okay if it's not today, but it must change, and I know it must change. I accept. And in your acceptance, everything changes. So open yourself up to the changes that you say that you crave and want. They're waiting for you. You are waiting for you. You just have to open up to receive it. You can't go up to somebody and say, can you give me money, with a closed fist. You have to open up your hand to receive it. And in you saying, I'm ready for a change, is you opening up your hand, which then therefore allows something to be placed in it that is new. So please, open up those hands to receive everything that is knocking on your door, because we're all just waiting on you. As always, we're full of gratitude and joy that you were opening up your ears, making time and space for us, and we wish you well in accepting all it is that you already know. It is not as scary as you may think. It is quite freeing. And when you do that, you free all of us. So please, free us. Free yourself. Thank you.